how did you become homeless?
I got sick a few years ago. I have a bunch of medical issues, and I lost my job. And I went on wonderful government benefits, which barely are enough to get by. I mean, I live off a month what I used to make in a week working.
Wow.
Basically, that's the story.
And how long have you been at this particular spot?
7 months.
Wow. Now, how are you coping with the cold?
I got like 6 sleeping bags. I got a fire pit, grill. I mean, layers, 5 layers top, 5 layers bottom.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his. I gave the directions. See, so I don't know if there's a this one.
My name is Linda King. I'm a Community Development Specialist for the Department of Planning and Development for the City of Lowell. We're here doing the 2016 HUD Annual Homeless Count. We're specifically doing the street count tonight. It's about 20 of 5, where our teams have already begun leaving. They've been going out since 4:30 this morning. It's about 18 degrees, and no one should be living outside in these kind of conditions. And we're trying to make sure that we can encourage people to come in and make sure that they're okay and do the best we can to kind of address street homelessness in the city of Lowell.
So we completed the point in time count this morning, and it appears now that the number of unsheltered people is in the mid-20s. Not everyone has been counted yet, but it appears that that's probably where the number will be. And that's a big increase from last year, considering that we only had 15 people unsheltered last year.
So can you explain what goes into the count and how accurate it is?
The count, because of the time of year that it's completed, doesn't really give an accurate representation of the amount of unsheltered people that remain outside, especially this morning because it was so cold. Many people might be staying with friends or staying in the shelter because of the weather and not wanting to brave the elements. So it's sometimes the count is not really conducive to really demonstrating the amount of homeless that we have in the city.
So this is the interview form. I know I've sent it to you and I hope you had a chance to look at it. But it asks some pretty, personal questions. So it might be easier to just hand this. If the person will take it but wants you to do it, you could have one person making sure to take the notes on another page and someone asking them the questions so that you can really be engaged with that person.
We go by the federal government guidelines, which state that someone that's considered homeless is either living in an emergency shelter or staying in a place not meant for human habitation, so a car, a tent, an abandoned building. But there are many people in the city that are also unstably housed, so they might not have a permanent residence. They may go from family members or to friends' houses and stay, but they don't really have their own place to call home. So Pathfinder currently has 650 active intakes. Active intakes mean that the individual has came in at least one day in the past 12 months to utilize our services. That being said, we serve 100 to 125 people on a daily basis. There's been a dramatic increase in the last year among the unaccompanied youth age range, which are people ages 18 to 24. And out of the 30 to 40% increase that we've seen in this age range, around 60% are actively using opiates. And we know that through self-report, through our intakes, and also because we urine screen people that use the drop-in on a regular basis. So the 18 to 24 age range and their dramatic increase in the significant amount of them that are using opiates has sort of developed this vicious cycle because these kids are leaving home And ultimately, their addiction began with painkillers or using prescription drugs recreationally in high school. And then their parents ask them to leave their homes, or, you know, they lose employment or they have lack of employment experience. And then it sort of just spirals that they remain outside, and their main focus is really to fuel their addiction.
Are you a drug user?
Actually, I'm in recovery.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I have
That's wonderful.
2 years clean now.
Oh wow. And what was your poison?
Heroin and cocaine.
Wow.
I'm on Suboxone now. I use a clinic in Tewksbury called Clean Slate.
How long did you struggle with that addiction?
Years, since I was a kid.
Oh wow. And so what has it been like for you, trying to get clean?
It's kind of hard. I mean, I have the same problems I had when I was using as I am clean. It's just, but using only makes it worse. I mean, you can get high and forget about your problem for a couple of days, but it's always going to come back and bite you in the ass, so to speak. So, I mean, it's a struggle every day, but I'm doing pretty good with it, I'd like to think.